You know, when the young kids in Montreal skate around the Dollard Saint-Laurent, Saint-Spotif, I know there's probably grandparents there watching them play, and their thoughts go back to probably one of the most respected players in Montreal Canadiens history, who's the rink is named after him. La Salle is a beautiful area to play hockey, and my only regret that Dola is not alive to see players in his rink skate around, because he skated miles, ladies and gentlemen. So this request again comes from our good pal Travis Cook, and I apologize to the Dola Saint Laurent fans for not doing it sooner. But I've been doing so many players, and you know it's hard to get to all the Montreal Canadiens successful players because there's tons. Now, Dollard Saint Laurent was a multiple Stanley Cup winner with Montreal and Chicago. He won 5, and he was part of the 1950s dynasty. Actually, the early part of the dynasty as well. But we're going to get into that. Now, a very great defensive defenseman. Dollard was born in Verdun, Quebec, and March 12, 1929, at 5'11", 180, very durable player. Now, he got his major recognition with the Montreal Junior Canadiens of the QJHL, where he skated for 2 seasons from 1947 to 1949. Now, he did show a strong offensive touch with the puck, but he also had a great defensive game. Now, in the 49 season with the Montreal Junior Canadiens, he had 15 goals and 27 assists for 42 points. Now, he graduated to the Montreal Royals of the QSHL in 1950 with 7 goals and 15 assists, but his first call up with the Canadiens came in 1951 when he played 3 games, and he was still with the Royals, where he scored 12 goals and 30 assists for 42 points. Now, after another successful quarter season with the Royals, 10 goals, 16 assists for 26 points, he got called up to Montreal, and he became, again, a defensive specialist. His first season, his rookie year with Montreal, he had 3 goals and 10 assists for 13 points, and also had 3 assists in the playoffs. Now, 1953 was a breakthrough year for the Montreal Canadiens, and it's hard to call it a youth movement. I don't know what you would call it. Probably a new look movement for the Montreal Canadiens. Jacques Plante came into his own that season, and Dickie Moore as well, and he had enough momentum from a strong regular season to get into the Stanley Cup Finals, and he won that year. And he became, one of the mainstays of the stay-at-home defenders on the Montreal Canadiens backline, and he did that for the next 6 seasons. Now, his efforts contributed to 3 more Stanley Cups between 56 and 58. Now, in a very controversial decision that a lot of people don't really understand why, he was eventually sold to the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Blackhawks were planning to assemble building a Stanley Cup contender to Chicago. And although the 5-year plan failed, it took 4 years. And by 1961, Chicago, with Bobby Hull, with Dollard, with a lot of other veterans and younger players, the team finally ended their long championship drought and won the Stanley Cup in 1961. Now, again, that was Dollard's fourth cup. He continued to play strong for Chicago, but he was sent for some reason to the Quebec Aces in the 63 season because Chicago was trying to go more of a youth movement. In that situation, it was disastrous for Dollard because he took a hard fall to the ice, he broke his leg, and ended his aspiration to make it back to the AHL. Now, at the end of the season, he officially announced his retirement. Very sad because Chicago had got him because he wanted him, and in this situation, he ended up back in the minors again with hopes of making it back to the NHL. But like certain on-ice injuries, it just takes one bad D or one bad break, literally and figuratively, to make it. But for fans of the Montreal Canadiens, you remember him fondly because, again, he was playing with all these top-flight superstars of Montreal. He wasn't a superstar in his own right, but you need players like Dollar to win any championships. You're only as good as your 17th player. I didn't say that. Danny Galvin once said that publicly. He said you're only good as your last player. Now, if he was a number 5 defenseman on the Canadiens, what a great number 5 he was. And sometimes he was number 4, number 3 as well. So, I mean, but the totals were there, ladies and gentlemen. 652 games in a regular season, 29 goals, 133 assists for 162 points. And in the playoffs, 92 great games, including, like I said, those 5 cups. 2 goals, 22 assists for 24 points. So every time, like I said, I hear about that rink every once in a while in RDS reports or whatever, and they always said if you're really really good, you'll have something named after you, and all the young players that play in that ice services can look up and say, hey, that's a legend that I'm skating under. And he's probably looking down and saying to himself, you know, I'm proud of the Montreal Canadiens, what you did this year. You overachieved. Because in a lot of ways, you know, he was an overachiever. He came into a Montreal Canadiens situation where they had limited success for the past decade. They're up against Detroit every year, and you needed players like him to make it go. But ladies and gentlemen, if you ever look at these hockey cards, by the way, just like Johnny Unitas, his haircut, you could set a clock to it. What a beautiful brush cut he had, ladies and gentlemen. My mother always said, you know, one of the most handsome players she had ever seen. And that alone deserves a podcast because you look good, you play good. And definitely he looked good every time he played. So ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening. And again, a like, comment, and subscribe, more than welcome. Keep on listening because we're going to do a little bit more of the vintage era over the next few weeks. We're doing something on the Bordelot family or more on the Bordelot family, their Team France connection. So keep on listening and we'll keep on doing them. Have a good day. Bye.